Let's start with a simple but super useful example, collecting form submissions on one site and sending them directly to another site's database. Imagine you have a central site where you store all event participants, and an event site or multiple sites which are landing pages for different locations or events where people register. When someone registers on the event site, their data will be sent to the central site automatically through the REST API. On the central site, we're going to start by creating a custom content type called participants. This will be the database table where all our event registrations are stored. I'll add 3 meta fields for participants info: name, email, and photo. And I'll give them simple, clear names. These names matter because they'll need to match the field names in our form later so the data lines up correctly. For the photo field, I'll use the media field type with its value format set to media URL. This is important because the data will be sent through REST as JSON. We're not actually uploading attachments to the central site's media library, just passing the image's URL as text. That's why the photo field must store a media URL. Even if the image itself isn't visible in the CCT backend, its URL will let us display it on the front end using dynamic widgets or blocks. And while we're here, let's make this incoming data easier to work with in the backend. For each meta field, I'll enable the Show in Admin Columns toggle. This way, the name, email, and even the photo URL will appear right in the CCT admin list without having to open each record individually. Next, in the CCT general settings, we'll turn on Register Create Item REST API endpoint. This generates a special URL, an endpoint, that can accept new entries from outside. Now let's talk about authorizing REST API connections. By default, the access capability is set to Edit Posts. This means the endpoint will only accept data from requests authenticated as a WordPress user whose role has that capability, like admins, editors, or authors. If we leave the access capability field empty, the default Edit Post value still applies. If we type public instead, then anyone can send data, no login required. That might sound convenient, but it's risky, because anyone who knows how to find your endpoint, which can be done without access to the admin dashboard, could spam your database. So I recommend keeping it restricted unless you really need it public. Let's see how to set up proper authorization. On the central side, go to the profile of a user who has the Edit Post capability. In my case, that's the admin account. Scroll down to Application Passwords, give your password a label, and click Add New Application Password. This creates a password that your form will use to prove it's allowed to send data. Now let's move over to the event side. We'll create a form in JetFormBuilder with fields matching the CCT field names from the central site. The labels can be anything, but the field names must match exactly. In Post Submit Actions, add a REST API request. In the REST API URL field, paste the endpoint URL we got from the central site's CCT. We'll leave the custom body field empty so all form data is sent automatically. Next, enable authorization and choose Application Password. In the Credentials field, enter the central site username and the application password you just created, separated by a colon. That's it, form setup complete. Now place the form on your event site page using Elementor's JetForm widget, a Gutenberg block, Bricks JetForm element, or just a shortcode. Style it how you like, hit publish and test it. When someone fills out this form, their data travels securely through the REST API straight into the participant CCT on the central site. And as you can see, our test submissions appear instantly as new entries. And, as I previously mentioned, you can certainly display it on the site's front end. By the way, if the REST API intro and this first example were helpful, give this video a like so we know you're enjoying it, and we'll keep making more tutorials like this.